What are they going to do in Vancouver? Pettersson and Miller.
I want to ask you about that.
Yes,
Rutherford has that conversation. Are you cool with that conversation? And are they going to get rid of both? What?
First and foremost, how awesome is Jimmy Rutherford? Like, this isn't 10 years later him going, yeah, we had a problem with two players. He's talking about it right now, going, we got a problem with two players. They can't seem to get it sorted out. Like, I think Rutherford is like, he's like, I don't know. He's a guy who's seen it all, done it all. So he just doesn't care. Like, he's like, yeah, I get it. We're going to have to sort this out. I don't know what you do with both. Like, to me, JT Miller seems like a hardened, demanding teammate. And Pettersson seems like a guy who's fragile. And if they don't mix, and again, there could be something way more to this. We don't know. But the other thing I would say, if you're trading JT Miller or you're trading for him, you better damn well know what he left the team for a month for. Because
you got to have a strong room to bring that guy in. Let's be honest.
Well, and if he left for any type of reason, whether it's a family member sick or mental health or whatever it's been framed, you better know that if that could also come back, right? Like, if you're trading or going to give up a king's ransom for him, you're right, have a strong room, but you also better understand that could happen again if there's something that, I'm not privy to the information, if there's something that could crop up again and he would have to leave your team.
Yeah. But I'm with you. We talked about it yesterday. I can't believe Rutherford went public with this. I love it. And I'm not crushing them because we always do that. Nobody ever said anything, and then they say something and you hammer them for it. I love it. But to your point, it's like, that year in Vancouver, we really had an issue in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, that's today.
Oh, that was
today.
Well,
right now.
It's right now.
And he's basically saying, like, we know we might not get full value for these guys because, everybody knows it. But then, so maybe they decide, you know what, we're going to keep it in-house the rest of this year and we'll deal with it in the offseason. Like, I don't know. Because if there's not the right dance partner out there for who's got the cap room to take 11.6 right now? That's Pettersson's cap hit.
Not a good team.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Unless it's a team that is looking for a shakeup. Like, if you're the Rangers looking for a shakeup, or if you're, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. But Jimmy Rutherford, I love the guy because he just is shooting from the hip, saying this is what our situation is. We're going to deal with it. So be interesting to see how they deal with it.
And then the other rest of the house of cards is you've got Besser's a U this summer. No one's talking about that. Demko's a UFA in 2 summers.
Yeah.
Win in 3. Like, this has the potential to go full nuclear. Or maybe it's one deal, the room mends back together, and they start looking like the team last year that won the division.
I wonder what their thoughts are, like Rutherford and Alvin ownership towards Rick Tocchet.
Doesn't have an extension.
You're a great coach, but why is this happening on your watch? Can't you straighten this out? You're great leader and one of those guys in your playing days.
Yeah, but can you lead can you lead the way that he might want to lead? You know what I mean? Like, can you exactly? Can you cross-face chicken wing somebody and say, get your head out of your ass? Especially if that's part of the problem is there's fracture or fragileness or whatever. Like, it's just a different world. So I don't think you can have the iron fist approach. You can have the honest approach and honest conversations. But this isn't Rick Tocchet. If anything, maybe it leads to he had a great season last year because he was able to keep all of that nonsense together. That's really what you got to look at it a different way. Is I think he's a great coach and a great person, and he deserves an extension. And maybe he deserves a Purple Heart for keeping this mess together for a long time.
Doing what they did last year.
Well, and look, you look at the players who aligns with Rick Tocchet more. It's not even close. It's the way JT Miller goes, you don't like me, fight me in practice. And so then the team immediately is saying, okay, we don't want to move Pettersson, let's move Miller. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all if philosophically Tocchet and the front office want to do different things.
I would, if I'm doing it, I'm getting rid of both.
At this point, it makes sense though. Yeah.
It's a spicy meatball because what are you getting back?
You know what, though? You just said Rantanen may not re-sign in Carolina, but you have cap space.
Yeah, you're right. You're right to cap space. Keep in mind, Quinn Hughes should be up for the Hart You're wasting this guy's.
But that's why I would dump these
his...
guys and be like, F you. I get, but sometimes you cut bait.
Yeah, I get
sometimes
it. Here's the other thing.
Win.
The counter argument to that is, what if Pettersson is just, we'll call it slightly immature, and a year from now the light goes on and he grows up.
You're not finding it out in Vancouver because the rest of the guys know his approach and their interactions of what's going on in that room. It's not right, and they're not rallying behind. And what the F did he do last year in the playoffs? He put on his pouty pants and didn't show up. So
yeah, no, you're right. You make a great point. I see a lot of people pointing to Jack Eichel, saying, what if he becomes Jack Eichel?
Great. He does.
But that's the scary part if you're Vancouver going.
So what? You still have to move on and make the next best move that you can.
Okay, but has Buffalo recovered from some of these moves that they
recovered? Jack Eichel staying in Buffalo doesn't mean that the Buffalo Sabres were going to win the Stanley Cup. Jack Eichel went to one of the best teams in the league and won a Stanley Cup. It has nothing to do with Buffalo. They moved him. They made an immature decision because they wouldn't let him get his fucking neck fixed. And they lost. And let's not forget, they didn't want Jack Eichel to begin with. They threw in the towel on seasons to go get McDavid. McDavid didn't have the cup. Like,
I get it. I get it. I'm just saying,
rumbling around. It's not a straight line.
No, I agree. And you're right. Jack Eichel doesn't deliver the cup.
No, just muted.
We lost you.
Oh, happened here.
There you go.
I opened the door by accident. So I was saying, Jack Eichel doesn't deliver the cup, but he makes that organization look a lot better down the middle. That's my point. It's revisionist history because we can go, they gave up on Reinhardt and Montour and all of these things. I get it. The goalie. Well, Zolmark was there, right?
Would you also like to be regarded as the worst organization? Like, do you believe that you're going to muddle and MF all this stuff up continually like the Buffalo Sabres? Like, that's 14 years they haven't been a player. So if you're comparing yourself, if you're saying, hey, Jim, you're the shit and you're not going to be able to operate well, then fire Jim too, because you know what I mean? Like,
they'll get it done.
Example you want to be comparing yourself to.
You're right, but they'll get it done. It's very interesting because these are big decisions, and they are going to be decisions that take your organization into a crossroads, one way or the other, right? So you can't just make a knee-jerk decision because you don't like what you saw this week or whatever. You've got to figure it out, and because these are all organizational altering decisions that could have ramifications for years.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.